Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you've ever found yourself questioning your partner's behavior, wondering if something's changed or if your gut feeling is trying to tell you something, you're not alone. Relationships are built on trust, and it can feel deeply unsettling when that foundation starts to crack. In today's video, we're going to talk about something many men quietly struggle with: the subtle signs a woman may be emotionally or physically unfaithful. These aren't just about dramatic betrayals or tabloid headlines. Often it starts with small shifts, an unexplained absence, a vague excuse, a sudden need for privacy where there once was openness. This isn't about judgment or jumping to conclusions. It's about recognizing patterns that speak louder than words, and learning how to protect your peace of mind when you feel something isn't right. We'll explore 10 common phrases, behaviors, and dynamics that, when repeated or combined, can suggest more is happening beneath the surface. So stay with me until the very end, because understanding these signs can help you make clear-headed, confident decisions rooted not in fear, but self-respect. Let's begin. 1. It didn't mean anything. Emotional detachment excuse. When a woman is caught in betrayal and responds with, "It didn't mean anything," she's not offering clarity, she's offering escape. That phrase is not about truth, it's about control. It's a strategy designed to downplay the weight of her actions and soften the emotional blow. She's not denying what happened, she's denying that it should matter to you. But meaning isn't measured by her emotions alone, it's measured by the promise that was broken. Whether it was a kiss, a message, or something more, the act crossed a boundary that both of you agreed to protect. That's what matters, not how she feels about it now. When someone says, "It didn't mean anything," they say, "I want to avoid the consequences." Emotional detachment doesn't erase betrayal. If anything, it reveals an even deeper distance. Because if it truly meant nothing to her, why did she risk everything for it? Why lie? Why hide? A person doesn't jeopardize trust for something meaningless. That phrase is meant to calm you, to stop the questions, to neutralize your right to feel hurt. But don't be misled. The damage isn't in what it meant to her, it's in what it did to you. A man must learn not to get pulled into her interpretation of events. Your role isn't to debate how she felt, it's to recognize what she chose. You don't measure betrayal by her level of attachment. You measure it by her stepping outside the bond you shared and returning, hoping to rewrite the narrative. You deserve more than selective remorse and emotional loopholes. You deserve the truth that acknowledges the impact, not excuses that erase it. And above all, you deserve respect, the kind that doesn't disappear when no one's watching. 2. Sudden absences and excuses for disappearing. When a woman starts vanishing behind vague explanations, it's not the words you should focus on, it's the pattern. It begins innocently enough. She cancels plans at the last minute because of an office retreat or a surprise visit from an old friend. Maybe she says she's overwhelmed with work. At first you give her the benefit of the doubt. You understand that life can be chaotic. But soon these disappearances fall into a rhythm. Every weekend she suddenly becomes unavailable. Every time you get closer, she pulls away. Behind the same stories, each more convenient than the last. You start to notice things don't add up. The friend she mentions has never been brought up before. The work event happens too frequently to be real. When you ask if you can come along or offer to wait, she brushes it off with practiced detachment. It's not just about her being busy, it's about how well the distance is maintained. Real emergencies are unpredictable and rare, but when she disappears at the same time, in the same way, week after week, you're no longer looking at chance, you're seeing control. This behavior isn't always about infidelity, but it is always about avoidance. Avoidance of intimacy, avoidance of accountability. A woman invested in a relationship doesn't consistently create space between them, she makes time. She invites you into her world, but if she begins building walls with silence and stories, it's a sign that she's retreating emotionally long before she physically disappears. As a man, it's easy to rationalize this distance, especially when you care, but you must pay attention to what her consistency in absence is telling you. Emotional withdrawal often wears the disguise of busyness. A relationship can't grow in the shadows of unexplained gaps, and when her schedule becomes more of a mystery than a shared life, you're left chasing a connection that no longer wants to be caught. 3. The just a friend card. It always starts casually. A name you've never heard suddenly appears in conversations, brushed off with a light laugh and the phrase, "He's just a friend." Maybe she met him at work or reconnected through social media. Perhaps he's an old classmate, a gym buddy, someone from way back. But something feels off. It's the timing of the texts, the tone in her voice, the guarded look when you ask too many questions. You try to convince yourself it's nothing because that's what she says it is, just a friend. But friends don't need to be hidden. Friends aren't the ones she smiles at when she thinks you're not looking or messages late at night when you're lying beside her. The more you press, the more you're made to feel like the problem, as if your instincts are paranoia and your discomfort is insecurity. Emotional infidelity rarely enters loudly. It slips in quietly under the label of friendship, disguised as a harmless connection. And because there's no physical evidence, you're left second-guessing your judgment. But the truth is, when someone starts sharing their emotional world with another person, thoughts, dreams, jokes, frustrations, that bond becomes intimate. And intimacy, when removed from your relationship and planted elsewhere, becomes a threat. You can feel even before you see it. An emotionally loyal woman doesn't make space for new male friends. She must hide. She doesn't create stories to make you question your value or your right to ask. And when she's committed, she makes you feel like a priority, not like a detective. If you sense distance growing while someone else draws closer, trust the shift you're feeling. It's not jealousy, it's awareness. And when just a friend starts replacing the space that belonged to you, it's already more than that. 4. Gaslighting, making you doubt yourself. Gaslighting is a cruel form of manipulation, one that slowly erodes your sense of reality. It begins subtly, often when you confront her about something that doesn't sit right with you. You notice her flirting with another man, and when you bring it up, she turns the tables and accuses you of being paranoid. "You're too sensitive," she'll say, or "that never happened," making you question your memory. "You're imagining things," she insists, shaking off what left you uneasy. In these moments, your perception is under attack. What you saw, what you felt, is suddenly invalidated. The more you question yourself, the less likely you are to trust your instincts. It's not about the incident anymore. It's about undermining your confidence, making you second-guess the reality you know. Her aim is simple: to make you back off, stop asking questions, and silence your concerns. This manipulation wears you down, making you doubt her and your judgment. You might wonder if you are too sensitive or your instincts are off, but it's important to remember that gaslighting isn't about the truth but control. She wants to dictate how you see the situation and how you see yourself. The more she can convince you that you're the problem, the less power you have to demand accountability. Gaslighting doesn't have to be loud or overt. It's in the quiet insistence that your feelings are wrong, in the repeated invalidation of your experience, and if you allow it to continue, it can leave you unsure of your reality. But when you recognize it for what it is, you can begin to reclaim your power and refuse to let her distort the truth. 5. Shifting the blame onto you. It always starts subtly. Her tone softens, but her words strike deep. You weren't giving me enough attention. You don't make me feel special anymore. At first, you question yourself. Did you neglect something? Did you miss a need she never voiced? But beneath the surface of these statements is something far more dangerous than simple disappointment, a redirection of guilt. Blame shifting is a psychological defense, often used to escape accountability. It reframes betrayal as a reaction rather than a decision. But cheating isn't a response, it's a choice. The mature path would have been communication if she felt unseen, unheard, or unloved. An honest woman who values the relationship doesn't trade loyalty for impulse without giving the man beside her a chance to understand and repair. If she went silent and then strayed, it wasn't about solving anything, it was about indulging what she wanted without regard for who she hurt. The real danger isn't the cheating alone. It's the narrative that follows, the one where your flaws become her excuse, where your imperfections become the weapon she uses to rewrite the story and make herself the victim. But no matter how convincing her reasons sound, infidelity isn't earned by emotional neglect. It's exposed by emotional immaturity. A relationship is built on effort from both sides, and if she never voiced her struggle until after the damage was done, then her loyalty was already gone long before her words tried to rewrite history. Never let someone use your humanity, missteps, learning curves, and blind spots to justify betrayal. Growth is expected, communication is necessary, but cheating is a decision made in silence, not in search of resolution. And any love that weaponizes your weakness was never love at all. 6. Denial and semantic games. When confronted with the truth, some women may immediately deny everything, dismissing your concerns with a flat, "You have no proof." They deflect, relying on technicalities to minimize what's happening. "I didn't sleep with him," she may say. "We just flirted. It was nothing serious." But here's the truth. Cheating isn't just about sex. It's about emotional betrayal, secret connections, and the lies that fuel them. When a woman craves attention from another man, when she seeks validation from someone else, that's emotional cheating. It doesn't matter if there's no physical touch. The emotional investment makes it real. Secret texts, suggestive messages, or even sending flirty photos are all forms of cheating. She may argue it wasn't physical, but that's just a way to downplay what's happening. If she's hiding something from you, it's cheating, whether it's digital or emotional. Digital cheating has become a silent epidemic. Deleting chats, creating secret accounts, and hiding photos are all signs of someone emotionally detached from the relationship and emotionally attached to someone else. It doesn't take physical intimacy to break trust. It's the secrecy, the lack of transparency that corrodes a relationship. The key is not just in what she says, but in what she hides. The emotional line has already been crossed if she needs to keep something from you. It's not just a matter of physical infidelity, it's the betrayal of trust, the erosion of the emotional connection that binds two people together. 7. the bad technology excuse. There's an old saying, if it happens once, it's a coincidence. If it happens every time, it's a pattern. This becomes particularly true when it comes to her phone. Over time, you start noticing the strange coincidences. Her phone is always dead or out of signal at the most inconvenient moments. Like every Friday night, Sunday afternoon, or after 10 p.m. It's almost as if the universe conspires to keep her from reaching out when you expect her to. She'll claim, "The battery died," "I didn't have a signal," or "the message didn't go through." At first, it might sound like a legitimate excuse. Phones do die, and Wi-Fi can be spotty. But it raises questions when the excuses follow a pattern tied to specific times or days that seem too convenient for seeing someone else. If the same issues occur every time you're supposed to meet or talk, it's no longer a simple technical glitch. It's a sign that something else is at play. People don't typically experience the same technical failures at the same time, week after week. It's almost as if she's trying to distance herself from you, using the phone as an easy out. It's a quiet but calculated way to avoid confrontation or explanation. Her excuses might seem innocent, but the regularity of the failures starts to feel suspicious, and you have every reason to wonder if there's another reason her phone appears to fail when you need to reach her the most. Ultimately, a woman who respects and values you won't let trivial things like her phone's battery get in communication. When her technology constantly fails during the times that matter most, it's worth asking why that pattern exists. Trust isn't built on excuses, it's built on consistency, and when that consistency is replaced by a string of bad technology moments, it's time to question whether you're being kept in the loop or kept at a distance. 8. Secretive social media use. In today's digital age, privacy can easily slip into secrecy. If a woman starts using platforms like Snapchat, Telegram, or Instagram DMs more frequently, especially where messages disappear, it's worth paying attention. She might brush it off as just social media, but it's no longer casual when the late-night activity picks up, and she starts deleting conversations or hiding her screen when you walk by. Suddenly, her phone becomes off-limits. She sets new passwords and is defensive if you ask to borrow them. Notifications are turned off, and even the simplest inquiry about who she's texting is met with avoidance. She's not just protecting her phone, she's guarding a part of her life she doesn't want you to see. It's not about whether she's talking to someone, it's about the shift in behavior. When someone is used to being open and connected but becomes defensive about what's on their phone, it raises questions. What is she hiding if she's no longer sharing her phone or screen? It's easy to dismiss these changes as usual, but don't ignore your instincts when patterns like these emerge, especially after trust. Secrecy in relationships isn't just about keeping things private. It's about hiding things that could change how you see each other. When she goes out of her way to shield her digital life from you, it signals that something is being protected. And in relationships, things that need protecting usually aren't innocent. 9. Questioning monogamy mid-relationship. Out of nowhere, she starts raising doubts about the very foundation of your relationship. Are humans even meant to be monogamous? She asks with a look that feels more like an invitation than a question. I don't know if I believe in traditional relationships anymore, she adds, as if this is some profound philosophical realization she's had. At first you might think it's just a passing thought, something to brush off. But if this never came up in your early conversations, and suddenly in the middle of your relationship she begins questioning monogamy, it's often a red flag. This isn't about open-minded exploration of different relationship models. It's a smokescreen, a subtle attempt to lay the groundwork for a behavior already in motion. She's not just questioning the idea of a committed relationship, she's rationalizing her actions. If she's been stepping outside the boundaries of your relationship, this could be her way of softening the blow of future infidelity, or even justifying what's already happening. It's not an invitation for a mutual conversation about boundaries and desires. It's a defense mechanism. Honest discussions about open relationships or even shifting the nature of a partnership are mutual. They're about both parties being equally involved in the decision, not one partner pushing an agenda that conveniently justifies actions already taken. So, take note when she starts talking about the futility of monogamy in a way that feels more like a justification than a genuine inquiry. It's likely not about her evolving beliefs. It's about her needing to explain away choices she's already made. Cheating rarely begins with the physical. It starts with subtle shifts in priorities, secrecy, and emotional distance. When a woman starts to gaslight, deflect blame, question monogamy mid-relationship, or suddenly guards her phone like a vault, these aren't isolated moments, they're patterns. And when patterns emerge, they speak louder than words. Emotional and digital infidelity are just as damaging as the physical kind, because they signal a deep breach of trust and respect. If you see these signs, don't fall into the trap of second-guessing yourself or justifying her behavior. A healthy relationship thrives on openness, accountability, and mutual respect, not confusion, secrecy, and manipulation. You deserve clarity and emotional safety, not a constant state of suspicion. Trust your instincts, recognize the red flags, and remember that staying in a relationship where your value is constantly questioned will only wear you down. I'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced any of these behaviors in a relationship? What helped you recognize the truth or move forward? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights on relationships, emotional intelligence, and self-respect. See you in the next one. Stay grounded, stay aware, and always protect your peace.